Hi, it's the casual elder playing the long game. How are you guys doing? I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed how many people will play MCOC, but they sound completely miserable, like they're not enjoying themselves? They say things like, "This event sucks. I hate this game mode. Kabam ruined another champion. I have to finish this before the rewards expire." And every time I hear those kinds of comments, I always end up asking myself the same question. Then why are you playing? Now, before anybody misunderstands me, I'm not saying you have to love every piece of content in the game, because I definitely don't. There are plenty of game modes I enjoy more than others. There are updates I like more than others. And there are champions I think are more amazing and others I couldn't care less about. But somewhere over the last 11 years, I made a decision that completely changed the way I play this game. I decided I was never going to let Marvel Contest of Champions control whether I was happy or not. I think one of the biggest reasons people burn themselves out is in games like this, like MCUC, is FOMO, the fear of missing out. Because a new piece of content usually comes out and suddenly YouTube is full of guides, live streams, speed clears, tier lists. Everyone's talking about the newest champion, the newest quest, or the newest rewards. And after just a few hours, it almost feels like you're already falling behind if you haven't done it yet. I've just never really felt that pressure. And in fact, one of my favorite things to do is kind of funny. Whenever new content comes out, I'll usually happily sit there and have somebody else's live stream playing while I'm like grinding arena, my usual. And I'm watching them experience the content. I'm learning about it. I'm seeing what the rewards are about. But I'm perfectly happy doing what I was already doing. Because I'm not really in a hurry or a rush, because there will still be another opportunity for me tomorrow, or next week, or next month. I've learned that this game is always moving forward. There's always another event, another crystal, another champion, another offer, another opportunity. So once I accepted that, I stopped feeling like I had to do everything as soon as they drop, as immediately. I honestly can't remember exactly when my mindset shifted, but somewhere over the years, I stopped forcing myself to play content I wasn't enjoying. And something interesting happened. My account kept growing, getting stronger anyway. And that surprised me because when I was a newer player in 2015, 2016, I believed that skipping one event meant falling behind forever. Now, like just much like whenever you start a new routine, like going to the gym, you're so excited about going every single day and you worry about maybe if you don't go one day, then you won't go back ever again or you lose all your progress. But now I know better. Sometimes I skip an event because I simply don't feel like playing it. Sometimes I'm busy, maybe. Sometimes I'd just rather spend that evening watching a movie. Or sometimes I'd rather play Arena. Or maybe such sometimes I'd just rather not even play MCUC at all that day. Life goes on, the game goes on, another opportunity always comes. So that realization took so much pressure off of playing this game. This philosophy eventually became so important to me that I actually changed my in game name. As you can see in this crystal opening, my in game name is It's Just a Game. And I changed it so many years ago, I don't even remember when exactly. And it wasn't because I thought it sounded clever or I thought it was funny. I changed it because I wanted a reminder of just that. Because I kept seeing the same thing happen over and over in our community. I would usually follow creators for months, sometimes years. I would watch their live streams, their champion guides, their tier lists, their account progressions, and they seemed to like the game, like they were really enjoying it. But then one day, a video will be uploaded titled like, I'm quitting, or Kabam finally pushed me too far, or this game isn't worth it anymore. And I usually would watch those videos thinking, oh man, I really loved this creator. Why are they quitting over this? It's just a game. Now, I don't mean that disrespectfully. I don't mean people shouldn't care. I simply never wanted a hobby that I loved to have that much control over my emotions. Because the moment a game determines whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, something is out of balance for me. Games are supposed to be fun, they're supposed to make your life more enjoyable and not really become like another source of stress. That's what I think, anyway. I've also noticed another pattern over the years. The players who were the most frustrated often had the most invested. Now, that's not always true. I'm definitely not saying everybody who spends money gets burned out. That's not at all, not at all. But I have seen it happen a lot. Some people buy every new champion the day they're released, or even the pre-release bundles. They rank them up immediately. They spend real hard-earned money chasing the newest thing, the newest content, the newest champion. Then a few weeks later, Kabam usually will adjust that champion called like balancing, whether it's nerfing or balancing them, or changes the meta so that the champion is not as dominant, or release content that doesn't favor the new champion anymore. Now, these players who have spent all this money buying them, they get frustrated. And honestly, I understand why. If I had spent hundreds or even thousands of dollars chasing something that changed only a month later or a couple months later, I would probably be very upset too. My experience has just been different. Most of my units come from Arena. I earn them slowly, one session at a time, one milestone at a time. And because I earn these units instead of buying them, every single one means something to me. I don't really want to waste them, so I want to make very good decisions. So before spending them, I usually stop and ask myself, do I really need this? Is there something better coming? Should I wait maybe another month? And more often than not, waiting turns out to be the better decision. One lesson 11 years has taught me is this: Kabam will always change things. And that is not a criticism, it's simply reality through observation. Sometimes champions get adjusted, sometimes new content launches with bugs. Well, a lot of times actually on that one. And sometimes a quest ends up being much easier than intended. Sometimes people finish it way too quickly, only to find out later it wasn't working properly. I've seen people get frustrated. I've seen people even panic. I've seen people feel punished for rushing into new content before everything settled down. And watching this happen over the years so many times taught me something. Patience usually costs me very, very little, but impatience sometimes costs a lot. Like sometimes an account will get banned saying that you exploited a bug, even though you didn't even know. It was just the way it was released. So nowadays, whenever a new champion comes out, I am rarely in a rush to rank them. I will wait, I will watch, I will let others play I will let other people test them first. And if they're still amazing a few months later, then great. I'll rank them then. And if something changes, I'm glad I waited. And I found that playing this way keeps me from making emotional decisions. It also lets me enjoy the game without feeling like I'm constantly trying to catch up. One thing I don't think I appreciated when I first started playing this game is how much Arena was teaching me something outside of MCOC. It was teaching me patience. Back when I first started, I didn't really understand the value of units. So the second I had enough, I would usually spend them on premium hero crystals or random offers, whatever looked interesting at the time. And looking back, man, honestly don't even want to think about how many units I wasted doing something like that because I didn't understand what they were worth. Arena slowly changed that. Instead of seeing units as something I should spend, I started seeing them as something I was building, kind of like a savings account, if you will. Every arena session added just a little bit more, every milestone a little bit more. And at first, it didn't feel like much, but eventually, you look at your account and you've got 10,000 units, 15 or even 20,000. Not because you did anything spectacular, just because you were simply consistent. I remember people asking me in my old alliances, like things like, how do you have that many units? How do you not spend them? How do you resist the urge to spend them? And honestly, I never really had complicated strategies. I just knew something better would eventually come. And that's maybe Banquet, maybe the July 4th deals, or maybe something Kabam hasn't even announced yet. Waiting just became easier because I wasn't focused on today's rewards. I was thinking months ahead. And of course, that's another reason Arena fits my personality so well. It rewards patience. And the more you wait, usually things become less expensive. And so your units become more worthwhile. Something else changed because of that. Every unit started feeling different. Because I earned them, maybe I earned those units while watching a movie or listening to a podcast or music, or maybe while watching a creator's live stream, or maybe while relaxing after work. And these weren't stressful hours. These were hours I enjoyed anyway. Arena simply turned those moments into progress. So when it came time to spend those units, I slowed down and paused. Because every unit represented time I had actually enjoyed. It wasn't just a number anymore, it had value. I think that's why I rarely regret spending units now because I usually wait until I'm confident. And honestly, I think that's where my philosophy differs from a lot of players. I don't play MCOC to maximize rewards. I maximize my enjoyment, and the rewards follow. And this sentence right here probably sums up my entire account better than anything else. When I'm enjoying myself, I naturally play more consistently. And when I play more consistently, resources build up. And when resources build up, my account grows. I don't think my account became what it is because I optimized every decision. I think it became what it is because I enjoyed the process enough to keep coming back for 11 years. Sometimes people ask me things like, aren't you worried about falling behind? And honestly, not really. Because behind who? This isn't a competitive race for me. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Some people enjoy pushing every new piece of content on day one, and that is awesome. I genuinely hope they have fun doing that. Some people enjoy spending money to collect every new champion immediately, and that is awesome too. Everybody enjoys games differently. This is simply what works for me. I don't need my account to look like somebody else's account. I just want it to keep looking a little bit better than it did last month and the month before. And that's enough progress for me. Now, here's something I've thought about a lot over the years. What if Kabam announced tomorrow that Marvel Contest of Champions was shutting down forever? I would honestly be disappointed. I've spent more than a decade playing this game, I've made so many memories, I've learned so many things, I've made some friends in my alliances and whatnot. So, of course, I'll be sad. But I wouldn't feel like those years were wasted because I enjoyed them. I remember when I was younger, I used to usually have other mobile games on my phone, like motorcycle games or card games or racing games. And eventually, I stopped playing every one of them. But I don't regret that time. I don't regret the time I spent playing them. Those games were fun. I just moved on to something else. So one day, MCOC will probably be the same. Whether that is next year or 10 years from now, eventually every live service game comes to an end. When that day comes, I hope I look back and think, I'm really glad I played that. And I hope I don't say something like, I'm glad I optimized every event. That's a completely different feeling, I think. And I think that's why my in game name still means so much to me. It's just a game. And it's not because I don't care about MCOC, it's quite the opposite actually. I care enough about this game that I don't want to ruin it by turning it into an obligation. I already have responsibilities. I already have work. I have bills to pay. So when I open MCOC, I just want to smile. I want to have some fun. If I stop smiling, maybe it's time to take a break. Maybe it's time to skip this event or that event. Maybe it's time to go watch a movie instead or go touch grass. The game will still be here tomorrow. And if it isn't, well, that's okay. Because I enjoyed the journey while it lasted. I think that's really what this channel is about. I'm not here to tell you the most efficient way to play MCOC. I'm not here to convince you that my way is the right way. I'm simply documenting the way I've enjoyed this game for more than 11 years. Maybe some of these ideas resonate with you, maybe they don't, maybe none of them do. Either way, I hope these videos encourage you to enjoy the game in whatever way helps you keep coming back. Because at the end of the day, the player who enjoys MCOC for 10 years will almost always build a stronger account than the player who burns themselves out after one. Not because they're better, but because they stayed. Longevity has been my biggest advantage. Not skill, not spending, simply staying around long enough to let consistency do its work. So if there's one thing I'll leave you with, is this. Progress matters, rewards matter, efficiency matters, but don't forget why you downloaded this game to begin with. It's supposed to be fun. There will always be another event, another crystal, another champion, another opportunity. Now, what there won't always be is your time. Spend it in a way that you will be happy remembering years from now. And remember, it's just a game.